All right, so let's see if this thing's gonna work properly. Huh? You ready? Is it working? Come on, any second now. There it goes. All right, so here we are with our special Halloween episode. It's the last month of October, which means that our Halloween-themed month is coming to an end. But don't worry, we still got plenty more cool stuff to open up. And Rouge Haunts is here and says, hey, right back at you. So we got the Shredder as Dracula, ultimate action figure from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles X Universal Monsters. It's always with the X these days. I guess that's their shorthand for crossover. Yeah, happy Halloween to you too. All right. Rouge Haunt says happy Halloween. So here we go with Guaranteed to Horrify, the blood-sucking samurai. Shredder as Dracula. Fear the undead Shredhead. Behold the immortal master who reigns in blood. Crimson creature of the night. With fangs of steel, the horror is real. Rising from his coffin to dine on turtle soup, he'll rip you to shreds. And then over here on the side, we have some cross-cell artwork. We've got Splinter as Van Helsing, Leonardo as the creature from the Black Lagoon. I think that's Michelangelo as the Wolfman. Looks like he's got an orange mask. Casey Jones is the Phantom of the Opera. Over on this side of the box, we got the logo again and a repeat of the portrait of Shredder that we have there. And Shredder has two different helmets and an unmasked head and a wealth of cool accessories. So, as I mentioned before, what do I want to be for Halloween? Asked Rouge Haunts. Well, I'm not really going to do anything for Halloween this year because I'm going to be working, unfortunately. But actually, my favorite Halloween costume is usually Dracula. I like to do Dracula. I don't know if it'd go with the beard, though. I think I'd have to do something else this year. So maybe one year I might shave off the beard and just keep like a long mustache and try to do something a little more like the way Bram Stoker described in the novel, or do the real historical Dracula, Vlad the Impaler. That might be a lot of fun. But yeah. Oh, here's make sure we get a look at the nice photograph here. And I really like this figure because obviously, like the rest of these figures, it's a mashup of a Ninja Turtles character and a classic Universal monster. But if you look at some of these other ones here, like it's not a normal Splinter. It's a Splinter as Van Helsing. It's not a normal Leonardo or a normal creature from the Black Lagoon. It's a combination of both. But I kind of feel like this figure could just work as like Shredder got turned into a vampire, or it could just work as Vlad the Impaler, but like more of a Universal Monsters version of him, if that makes any sense. Like this could have been the version of Vlad that Bela's Dracula was, if that makes any sense. So let's go ahead and open them up, and we can have a look at some of these cool accessories that this guy comes with, and all the different head sculpts and everything like that. All right, and we want to get a look at the background that's behind the blister, and it's a nice little castle background. And like with the Universal Monsters, you could take this out and use it as a backdrop for your figure if you wanted to, so that's cool. And then Dracula / Shredder has a soft goods fabric cape that it's in a little baggie that's taped to the back. You see, it is attached to the figure, but it's still kind of held safely into this little baggie that we're gonna pull off right now. And then we'll start taking stuff out of the package. And it's got the silica gel packet in there. Rouge Haunt says, I want to be a scary clown. Some people might say that all clowns are scary. I know some people who are just scared of clowns. Personally, I'm not really scared of clowns, but they can be creepy. I know Lon Chaney, who I've professed an admiration for on this channel before, one of the greatest actors of all time, certainly the greatest actor of silent cinema. Probably would have become a great actor in the talkies if he'd gotten to do more than one. But he liked to play scary clowns a lot, and he even had the saying that like what he said was there's nothing scary there's nothing scary about a clown, but nothing scarier than a clown after midnight, I think was the quote. I might be misquoting it, but you look up Lon Chaney quote "clown after midnight," you'll see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I remember when I was a little kid, my mom, like this probably would have been like my third birthday party. My mom got me a birthday cake with these little creepy looking clown cake toppers on it. And I thought they were really cool. I really liked them, but they were creepy looking. And, I'd mentioned to my mom, like, how I remembered these creepy clown cake toppers. And she's like, Alan, when you were a kid, you didn't think clowns were creepy. You loved clowns. And I'm like, yeah, but I loved creepy stuff. Oh, there's a lot of rubber tabs on this guy, like an inordinate amount of rubber tabs. I'm not even going to bore you guys watching by telling you how many rubber tabs there are, but I must have snipped like 4 or 5 of them, and I'm only at like the top half of the figure. There's still more on the lower half. It looks like not as many, thankfully. He's got some rubber tabs around each of his ankles or shins, like the upper part of the ankle or the lower part of the shin, however you want to describe that. Oh man, he's got so many accessories. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. So, and I've mentioned before how Shredder seems to be the figure, the character of Ninja Turtles that I buy the most figures of. And it's not because he's my favorite character. He's not. Although I do really like the Shredder. I think he's really cool. He's certainly my favorite villain of the Ninja Turtles. So, and we're going to have more Shredder on the way. And I still do have those other Shredder figures that I want to open up. And those are going to be coming soon, trust me. But if I'm going to buy a Ninja Turtle, I want to buy all 4 Ninja Turtles. I don't want to be just stuck with one. Worse, I don't want to be like, buy like 3 of them and then have a hard time finding the 4th one. So, but if I buy the Shredder, all I really need is the Shredder, right? Rouge Hunt says, when are you born? I was born a long time ago. I'm about to turn 50 on my next birthday. So, I'm an old man. But, that's the way of the world. So, get this. Try to get all these cut here. And I'm pulling out all these accessories. And we are going to have a closer look at some of these accessories. But right now, I'm just kind of getting them out of the blister. And then we can talk about some of this stuff. Because there's some interesting stuff in here. He's got a lot of cool stuff. And some of this stuff, I think, is really appropriate to... specifically the Universal version of Dracula. And some of it's appropriate, I think, to just Dracula characters in general. And some of them, I think, are definitely appropriate to the Shredder himself. He's got a lot of hands. He's got some gripping hands, some bare hands, some fist hands, and... hands with his Shredder blades on them. And then last but not least, the Shredder himself out of the package. And I will say right away, I really like this head sculpt. I think this head sculpt's really good. I kind of feel like it's in terms of its ethnicity, it's kind of just Roshan says, are you born in the 70s or 2000? Oh, it's definitely the 70s. Yeah, I'm way too old to be born in the 2000s. Yeah, I'm Generation X. I always say that like I'm either like a young Generation X or an old millennial. So you take your pick. It's one of the two. His cape is really cool. He's got this kind of scalloping on it like Batman. And you can see that it's red on the inside, and black on the outside. And it looks like it's done in that same technique that was done in some of the newer McFarlane capes, like the crowdfunding Batman and Robin, where I think it's dye that's in the fabric, but it's only on like one half of it or something like that. And you can see the armor. He's got like a breastplate with this crest on it that looks a lot like the medallion that Dracula usually has around his neck. And he's got a real chain. This is an actual metal chain that's around his neck. That's really cool. And then he's got like Shredder type armor with the blades on it. But you can see that it's also got this kind of texture sculpted to it. And that to me is very reminiscent of, again, a different version of Dracula from the Universal version. But like they took some cues from the Gary Oldman version of Dracula from the Francis Ford Coppola movie. So that's pretty cool. And they've done 3 different color schemes of this. One of them is a Walmart exclusive. And that's one where it's got more black on it. And Dracula has like translucent kind of blue head and hands, and that one's pretty cool. And then the other one that's a Target exclusive is the Crimson version. So that one looks a little even more like the Gary Oldman version of Dracula, but also to me looks more like the Shredder actually. But those are both really cool. But I liked this one the best because I felt like this was closest to the Universal version. Rushant says, "Can you show me your collection, please?" Oh, there's a ton of it on this channel already. So, but and you can see some stuff back there on the wall behind me. I've got just tons of stuff. So, but yeah, there's so many videos and live streams on here. Make sure you check the live stream section if you want to see some of the other stuff, because it doesn't show up in the video section for whatever reason. I haven't figured out how to get it to show up on that yet. But let's go ahead and set Dracula, Shredula, whatever aside, and we can talk about some of these other accessories. So he comes with 2 rats. And I think the rats are fairly interesting accessories. And they're not really rats that are made to be crawling around. They're made to be rats that he would like hold in his hand, like hold by their tails or whatever. And we'll probably do that in a sec. Well, let's go ahead and do that now. So let's see what he's got a solid fist. Both of these on the figure right now are solid fists. So I want him to have one of these kind of more open hands. So why don't we go ahead and switch one of those on. So it looks like he's got 2 plain gripping right hands, and the other gripping hands that he has have the Shredder blades on them. All the Shredder blades look like they're going to be on the left hands. And all the plain hands look like they're going to be on the right hands, which is kind of disappointing to me, because honestly, I'd rather have him have where you could have the display option to have him with neither of his Shredder blades or both hands having Shredder blades. And I think that these figures just in general are kind of more based on the movie versions, and that's why. And you'll see when I show off the Shredder helmets that those look definitely more like the movie versions of the Shredder's helmet. But remember, in the movie, the Shredder only had the blades on one hand and did not have them on the other hand. And the other thing that's I think very reminiscent of the Shredder in the movie is you can see that he's got scratches on his face there, like where Splinter in his rat form would have scratched him. Rouge Hans asks, "When's my birthday?" It's on the 26th of March. So, yeah, every year. So we can take these rats now that we have him like with a gripping hand, and you can kind of have him like they're supposed to kind of like he's holding them by the tail, like that. So. And obviously, the rats are a nod to Splinter. Like you could imagine, he caught Splinter as he was trying to escape, but Splinter's going to scratch him in the face and get away. But I guess the brown one would be the one that would have to be Splinter, because the other one is kind of like a black, kind of dark gray, depending on how you look at it. But likewise, he's got the sort of tail where you can have him kind of gripping it by the tail there. They're not really made, like I said, to be crawling around on the ground. Like you can see that like his legs are just kind of dangling like he's kind of kicking around. But they are two different sculpts. And we can have a look at some of the other hands. So here's the other right hand that's kind of more loosely gripping. And I guess you could, if you wanted to, maybe have him gripping the rats a little more by the body, if you wanted to do it with that. And then he's got this this interesting candlestick that's made out of a turtle. So I'm guessing it's like a taxidermied turtle. Yeah. So let's see if we can get him to hold that at all. You know, most Dracula figures come with some kind of candlestick, like a candelabra or something like that. Because I remember, yeah, in the movie, the original Dracula movie in 1931, he had the candlestick that he took downstairs with him. But yeah, so you can hold it by the leg, or probably even hold it by the head if you wanted to. But it is kind of, let's see, do they have him holding it at all on the package? I don't think they do. I'll have to look it up and see how other people have him holding it, because that does seem kind of awkward to me. But I mean, Dracula's got to come with a candle. That's just kind of one of those things. If he's only going to come with one accessory, Dracula's going to come with a candle. So we can set that aside now. Now we had to look at that. And we got this jug, which I'm guessing has some wine in it. And I never drink wine. So I don't know if he can grip that at all. It's too tight to fit in this hand. Let's try with the slightly more open hand and see if we can have better luck with that. Even without putting on the figure. Yeah, you can kind of grip the wine jug like that. And I have to imagine that this is probably like a Japanese rice wine. And what's the name of Japanese rice wine? It's sake, like oroku sake. Huh? How about that? All right, so, and then his weapon, he's got to have a weapon. He comes with a spear. And this is appropriate because we've seen the Shredder use a spear as a weapon a lot of the times. In the movie, he uses a spear. I think it's technically supposed to be a bow staff, but it's a bow staff with a big blade at the end of it. That's a spear. I don't care. But since this isn't just supposed to be the Shredder, this is supposed to be the Shredder as Dracula. And of course, like I mentioned before, the historical Vlad the Impaler, was he was called the Impaler for a reason. And the historical Dracula liked to execute people by putting them on, long wooden stakes, and just would practically have forests of his defeated enemies just on these wooden stakes, and Dracula would dine among the bodies, and the horrible stench didn't bother him at all. There's all kinds of crazy stories about the real Vlad the Impaler, the real Dracula. So if you want to hear any more of those, I mean, they're you can find them all over the place on the internet. But I remember reading them in books that I'd check out of the library when I was a kid. But he looks freaking awesome. And like I said, to me, this kind of works as like, obviously it's supposed to be the Shredder as Dracula, but it also just kind of works as like, if you just wanted like, I've got Bela here, of course. If you just wanted kind of like the version of Vlad the Impaler that this guy used to be, you know what I mean? Like this would have been him, like back in the 1400s when he was fighting off the Turks and defending Carpathia from the invading hordes. Yeah, he was awesome. So, and then the last accessories, but certainly not the least accessories, is we have a couple of alternate heads for him with helmets on them. And one of these, I feel like, is more of a Shredder helmet with some Dracula influence to it. And one of them, I feel like, is more of a Dracula helmet with some Shredder influence to it. Sahir 18 into here and says NECA is killing it with the horror characters. Absolutely. Like on this very channel, we've opened up quite a few of the Universal monsters this month. Dracula actually was one of the ones I opened much earlier, like almost a year ago, I think at this point. But I opened up Frankenstein, the Wolfman, the Invisible Man, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, Phantom of the Opera, and a couple of different figures of the Mummy, a couple of different figures of Phantom of the Opera too, and the glow-in-the-dark version of Bride of Frankenstein. So let's have a look at these heads and pop them onto our figure. So his head should just pop off. Should just pop off. Yeah, it seems like it's actually on there pretty good. Maybe it's because it's kind of cold in my room. And because of that, it's just kind of the plastic is kind of a little too rigid to really get it off. But in theory, this head should just come off. But I'm having a hard time with it. And honestly, like if I'm having this hard a time with it, I bet what's going to happen is if I pull it off, it's still going to have the neck stump. The little barbell thing is going to be stuck in the head. And that is not the way that these are designed to go on. So later on, after I'm done shooting this, maybe tomorrow at some point in the future, I will heat up the head with a blow dryer and replace the heads. But we can go ahead and have a look at them off of the figure. So this is the one that I kind of feel like is the most like a Shredder helmet. And you can see it's got some kind of bat ear flares on there, but you can see the kind of detail to it. Like that's very reminiscent, like I said, of the movie version of Shredder. And they put a little more detail, like a little more flare into the blade on the top of the helmet. Like, but you can tell that is, again, very much based off the movie version of the Shredder. Other than the kind of bat ear flares that are on there, you can see that the faceplate, rather than being kind of like the Darth Vader looking grill that the movie version of Shredder had, you can see it's more sculpted to be like a fanged mouth with kind of a bat-like nose. And while this is very vampire-esque, obviously, it also, to me, it looks a lot like the kind of masks like samurai would actually have attached to their helmets. And I'm about to sneeze. Excuse me. Anyway, so yeah, this is the one that I kind of feel like is a little bit more of a Shredder helmet than a Dracula helmet. So it's a Shredder helmet with a little bit of Dracula to it. Meanwhile, the second helmet that we have, and I think this is the one that's actually pictured on the front of the box. This one to me is more of a Dracula helmet with some Shredder styling to it. And you can see it's even more bat-like. Very much of a bat nose, very large fangs. You can see the red glowing eyes in there. The earpieces are much more pronounced. And it does still have, like, at the back of the helmet, that kind of samurai look. And again, very much like the Shredder's helmet in the movie. And he's got the blade over the top, but the blades at the sides blend much more in with the ears. So if depending on how you're looking at the figure, if I was just thinking of this as being like Vlad the Impaler in his full suit of armor, this would probably be the head that I was going to use on him. And if I wanted it to be the Shredder, but he's been turned into a vampire, this would probably be the head that I would use on him. And of course, the unmasked head, like I said, I think this works either way. I could buy this as being an Oroku Saki who's been turned into a vampire, or I could buy this as just being Vlad the Impaler, who's like maybe just turned into a vampire himself for the first time. And I don't even mind, like, as a Vlad figure, I don't even mind, like, the things like the extra blades and stuff like that. Obviously, that's supposed to represent the Shredder, and it does a good job of that. But I can imagine Vlad doing something similar with his armor. I can imagine him being the kind of guy who's like, I'm just going to put some, like, gnarly blades all over my armor, and then I can kill people more easily. But like I said, like, a lot of these armor pieces do sort of remind me of the the Gary Oldman Vlad armor that he had at the beginning of that movie. So I think that's really cool. And then, of course, like the sigil on the front, very reminiscent of Bela's Dracula medallion. You can see how similar those are. Obviously, it's a lot more tiny on Bela, so you can't quite make it out as well. But I'm looking at it in person, and trust me, there's like a lot of similar. They're not identical, but there's a lot of similarity between the two of them. So yeah, this guy works as Vlad, or he works as Oroku Saki. Either one. I think if you're a fan of the Ninja Turtles characters, this would be a good figure to add to your collection. And if you're a fan of just the Universal monsters, this is still a good figure to add to your collection. So for me, I kind of feel like this is the best of the, at least of what I've seen, the best of the Universal monsters Ninja Turtle crossover figures. And honestly, it was the first one that I saw that I was like, yeah, I gotta have that one. That one's really cool. Like, like the other ones, like I was kind of like a little more casual about them. I'm like, oh yeah, that's nice, whatever. But these, I just saw them. This one I just saw, and I'm like, hell yeah, I gotta have that one. That's like I said, Dracula is like my second favorite character of all time, and my number one favorite character of all time. We all know who that is, right? We all know who my number one favorite character is. This guy's my number two. Dracula's my number two. So another type of Batman, as it were. But yeah, so that one's really cool. So in case you guys haven't guessed, that's going to segue us into our new theme that we're going to have for the next week. And that's finally opening up some of these Ninja Turtle figures that I've had piling up here for a while. I definitely want to get some of these opened up. So our next figure that we do, we're going to open up this guy, I think. Oh, he's already kind of opened up, isn't he? Yeah, well, that makes my job a little easier, doesn't it? He's already kind of come loose there. I don't even think that's where it's supposed to come loose. I think that's the glue. Yeah, there's supposed to be glue here holding this. You can hear the tackiness of it, but it's almost like a double-sided tape. But it's kind of come loose there. So I'll go ahead and push it back down. And when we open them up, we're gonna open up the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures Shredder with the alternate Krang head. He does have a regular Shredder head in there, so we can swap that out. So yeah, I'm finally going to open up these Ninja Turtles figures that I've been promising to open for a long time and hadn't gotten around to yet. But maybe I was just waiting for the right thing to start off, and Shredula is the right one. And then we've got, again, like I say, I buy a lot of Shredder figures. Got the 2-pack, the Shredder Worms of Madness with 2 different figures of Oroku Saki. And then we've got Casey Jones on the dirt bike. And you can see that was another one I got marked down at Walmart a while back. So this one I got off Big Bad Toy Store. This one I actually paid full price for. But yeah, I've got like, I bought a few of these guys because they were so cheap. And he looks like a really nice figure. And I've got a few custom ideas for things I can do with him. But yeah, next episode, we're going to go ahead and open up the Krang Shredder, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventure Shredder. Oh, and my next Big Bad Toy Store order is actually going to have this Slash figure in it. So I will have more Ninja Turtles on the way. And my next Big Bad Toy Store order is going to have the Super 7 Reaction Plus Universal Monsters figures, which when I first ordered them, I saw they were supposed to arrive in October. So I was like, cool, I can open those for Halloween. But they wound up showing up at Big Bad Toy Store on like the 28th or something. So I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm not going to have those in time for Halloween this year. But, I'll probably open those sometime in the very immediate future. And I've still got a lot more Masters Universe to open. We opened up a good amount of Masters Universe this month because, there's plenty of Masters Universe characters that are monsters, obviously. And, Beastman, the Snake Men figures, like, to me, those fit in perfectly with the Halloween theme. And, of course, Skeletor / Mumra, how could I not open up him on Halloween, in my Halloween theme? But, yeah, November 1st is tomorrow, and that's when we're going to get on to opening up some of these Shredder figures that I've had piling up here. I mean, I just opened up a super cool Shredder figure, so we might as well open up the rest of them. Anyway, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. And let me know what you think about this figure. And let me know what you think about Dracula. And let me know what you think about the Shredder. And if you're planning on picking up this figure, how are you going to think of him in your collection? Maybe you could get all three of them. And one of them could be, think of this one as being, say, Dracula. And think of the red one as being the Shredder or something like that. I don't know. I think that they're all three really cool color schemes, but this was the one that I liked the best. So this was the one that I picked out. And this is the one that's like, I think just kind of like the basic, like the standard version. And like I said, I believe the Crimson version is a Target exclusive, and the one with the kind of translucent blue skin is a Walmart exclusive. So I guess that makes sense. You got red for Target and blue for Walmart. That's their colors, isn't it? But yeah, this one's my favorite because this one's like kind of the most in line with the outfit that Bela wore. You can see how it's kind of the same silhouette to it, but I can kind of imagine this guy being the Vlad that eventually became Bela's Count Dracula. But anyway, that's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. We will talk to you next time. Bye.